welcome back to HGC Korea. We do have a series between Ballistix and GLuck, but we do have the final game.
We have a thing.
We have
game
game 3.
We have something. It's
And
there. We're not sure if we... I don't know. It's a rough day for Hodu as a new guy coming on to GLuck. He is struggling. I mean, honestly, you're going up against not only one of the best teams in the world, but also you're coming into a new team for you and a new environment. I mean, this is a guy that you were talking about how he does have a little bit of experience previously. That was a long time ago.
And that was a long time ago, but you do have to talk about Ballistix, the only team to actually lose against NA at the international stage ever since C9. That was Team DK back in 1995, I think? So it's been forever. And Ballistix was the only team.
Existed.
Yes. Before we had something called the World Wide Web.
Oh, man.
So
do I ever go on the World Wide Web often, my friend? I'm a big fan of like these news groups. Been on there a few times. I've dialed up many a modem.
But ever since then, Ballistix actually caught up to the meta. Finally, they are able to play something that can actually suit them, but we'll have to test them a little bit more against Gen G and see what happens. Already against Tempest, they did lose the series with 3-1. And ever since that point, I think they really started to improve with the Rel picking up. I think we really have to go to the next week and see what happens with the 6th ban.
Things are going to change a lot next week. Hopefully they change for GLuck, and hopefully they change for GLuck in this game. We'll see what they have to pull out. It's going to take a little bit of something extra. What might that be? I mean, we've all seen some crazy picks in our time. Even just yesterday, we had Cho'Gall come out. I think we're about done with that pick, but hey, it was... the times were desperate enough to pull it out yesterday. They're pretty desperate now, so it honestly could be a little bit of anything.
Yep, maybe just going with what Hodu has the most understanding.
Okay.
Maybe going back to the double support or something of his... We did have a game a long time ago with SPT, having a Simba, because I believe he was also a fill-in for the team. And he was a Leoric, of course. He can just push the lane. And if you die, you come back to life.
Yeah.
So it was basically you play your own game, we'll have the full rotation of our own team. And that was actually a strategy, which of course they lost. But seems like for now, they will have all this together with Phoenix pick up to, of course, a great start, but which means very likely Rel will be going to Ballistix. Maybe they don't even care, want to focus on the global a little more, and maybe just beat the Haka.
I mean, maybe this is Ballistix's chance to maybe give GLuck a little bit of a chance with some wacky picks. We've seen them go a little bit off, standard, but nothing super, crazy so far. So I don't really know what to expect here from GLuck, but they do need to change things up. And for Ballistix, I think we should be in store for more of the same. They look like they're having a great day today, and in general, everybody is feeling good on their team. We saw what it looked like when Tempest was sick. A Ballistix that's feeling good. I mean, it's just going to be maybe even stronger.
They're actually taking some time here as
they really thought about that Muradin pick for a while there. No surprise on the Irel, but
I think the surprise part comes later. They're trying to hide their DPS, which doesn't really happen too many times. I think they're planning on doing something. That's not too common for Ballistix. May just end up with a Hanzo because he's still open.
Don't worry, that secret Hanzo pick is going to come out at the end. I mean, honestly, it might be banned away here, so that might backfire a little bit if that's truly what they were going for. Maybe they've got something up their sleeve to try something a little bit new here, but for GLuck, they do pick up the Rhaegar, right? That was banned last time, so at least they'll get a chance to try that one on for size.
Does have a lot more healing. Now with the chain heal, the amount actually went up, less mana cost as well in this patch, but a big nerf. I would say about 25 to 30% on that amount of healing from Ancestral.
Look at Hodu's face. Is he crying? Okay, no, he's laughing. It was maybe. Wait, is he crying? I don't know, man. This has been a wild day for the young man on your screen. It does have a little bit to step up, maybe, but I mean, you really don't have any expectations coming into this game, right? You're just here to try your best and see what he can do.
2K Hanzo ban seems to be making the perfect sense as they had. He's not crying for sure.
I was a little. Honestly, I'm excited to see what Ballistix do
The
here.
only guy who cried in front of a camera was Crazy Moving, and he's gone. Okay.
Gone but not forgotten. That guy left his indelible mark on esports with that. It was a special moment. We may not get many more like that. Although Ballistix are trying to give us another one with how hard they're focusing Hodu.
Hanzo's gone. They have to remember, not Crazy Moving, their DPS. Remember, they spent all the time to talk about their DPS line and then said, okay, maybe we can't decide right now. Let's just pick up more than Irel. Think about it later. Or they had all that strategy planned out.
Just buying some time. I mean, if it wasn't Hanzo, what would it be? I mean, there's a lot of picks to go for. Li Ming, we saw that banned out earlier as well. It's going to be here along with the Falstad.
They do have a global control. ST's Falstad has been rising up in its mastery, which was actually the winning moment against Tempest, having that wind tunnel against Tempest in Infernal Shrines. The only map that Tempest actually dropped.
Never forget. That was a magical game. If you guys want to just really give yourself a lifetime experience, go back and watch Ballistix versus Tempest from this phase. It was that was a game. Probably not looking to. I guess Ballistix would love to repeat that again. I don't know if this is the game for performances like that, but for GLuck, you know, maybe they need the same kind of performance against Ballistix.
But because they banned Hanzo, Ballistix already have a pretty good counter against that mosh pit.
That's true.
They do have the Leaping Wave of Force, Insta. And with the Pew from Irel, so there are a lot more, but finally we do see a Tychus, which was always being the SDE choice from Ballistix, finally pulled out from GLuck, and another source of tank, Diablo, who actually does a lot of damage. So we don't exactly know who's going to be. Aha! Because they have a tank player already, Roxer, and a new tank player. They decided to have 2 tanks for the team.
Yeah.
I think that's what's happening.
Well, when we say to play your comfort picks, you know, I guess I didn't really expect them to just both tanks play comfort picks. Okay. I mean, we're seeing definitely a departure from the way I expected this draft to go. It's a standard finish with Karazim for Ballistix, so I don't see anything too out of the ordinary for them. But for GLuck, this does represent something a little bit new, and hopefully it's a good thing.
And oftentimes, when you have Karazim, because you have some lacking healing, you would say, oftentimes it is paired up with Irel, Muradin, who can actually self-sustain somewhat pretty well. So you can always be close to Leeming Falstad for dash and Heaven Save for the healing. That's usually what happens because he can't really cover both sides. Finishing up with Karazim. Ballistix does have the global control as well, but for team fight and sustain, I think GLuck has it with Rehgar, and Diablo actually put out tons of damage. So Hodu is on there along, so that was their plan, having double tank.
This is where we find out that they're sandbagging or just trying to give Ballistix a fair chance. So they let them take a couple of games, and then they bust out the reverse sweep.
Oh, this is just like the opening out the new expansion cards from Hearthstone. You buy the pre-purchase of 80, which I did, for the next expansion pack.
Oh my god, you make me... I mean, what a great way to support Blizzard titles.
But they never... Sometimes they fail you. You do get the rare one, but sometimes
wait until we get the Innkeepers, a hero in Heroes of the Storm.
I can't wait. I have always been saying we need the Innkeeper as the announcer.
Every time a new Overwatch hero comes in, I'm just like, where's my
Look
Innkeeper?
at that
Overlord!
Ouch!
Yeah, he tripped there. Maggie, gets traded back, so a little bit of turnabout being fair play there. Jongha? Okay, he does escape. He'll take a fountain. But where were we?
Where were we?
Where's my Innkeeper? There we go.
Yes, we were at the Hearthstone memes.
Where's my Mecha Jiraxis? Heroes of the Storm. One step at a time.
Where's Deathwing, by the way? I always hear something about Deathwing and never... We'll see. Jungha, again getting harassed. So this is what we have been saying. We talked about it already in Game 1 draft. Where's Tychus? What's he doing? Eventually we will actually... We're saying that eventually Tychus will have some comeback against Zirel, especially because having the percent damage minigun does actually help quite a lot against Zirel. Seems like we already have it in Game 3.
Yep, just need to find a way to stay in lane against each other, and that should at least theoretically go pretty well. But right now it's about the macros, focusing on taking a couple of camps on each side. I guess GLuck taking their top one should cue Ballistix to maybe go for that eventually, and yeah, fall fed.
Because they didn't really get the kill for the rotation. They got an early start with Ballistix pushing the bottom. They already had the rotation early on.
Ooh, KCB getting a little bit close, takes half his health and damage. I like the rotation here, SDE right in top just when they need all that wave clear. I don't think he's going to be able to save everything, salvage it totally, but it is where he needs to be to help Jung out.
This kind of situation is where actually Phoenix does most amount of siege damage. He would love to just continue pushing because Ballistix, even with the help of their own camp, they started their own push like 10 seconds ago, even more. But good luck because they have one more member and that happens to be Phoenix. They're going to push very far into this one.
You know, this should be a fort. We're not quite ultra speed running this, but forts going down or taking damage this early is still not a great sign for Ballistix. I wonder if they can come back against GLuck, GLuck.
Huh, Roxer denied. Was going to possibly be going to had a grab onto Jungha, but a great time on the hammer. They do get the control onto the first, but they can just trade it. Seems like they're going aggressive on this one.
Don't blame them. Jungha is actually taking a little bit of damage. That will probably cue Ballistix to maybe give this one up.
But we have to talk about the next one already. The fort is destroyed at the bottom, which would only empower Ballistix in a big way because GLuck, they have no... Oh, they do. They have to make a longer travel back to their own keep now.
Well, and the power of the temples is that you do not have to win with a push to your opponent's fort, right? It is about macro and objective control in the end. You know, I've definitely one of the biggest differences, adjustments to Heroes of the Storm from playing other games is that the objectives are absolutely just so important. Like, you can try to win just a straight up game, pushing down the lanes to the core, but valuing them is just so impactful. So for Ballistix, even if they do give up one objective here or there, they're just such a good macro team. We should see them make up that deficit in the end.
Yeah, it is possible for a few maps to actually not care too much about the objective. Oh, look at that. Hold on to that. Good luck. Coming in hot, focusing on Hooligan, getting all the mini damage, and does get the dwarf down, but in what cost it? Asgard taking a lot of damage. That's a trade. Maybe more. Loxer locked in there with the body block. That's 2.
And Overlord even warp. I don't know how far away that's going to take you. Just barely enough to escape SCSC, but with the teleport forward, I don't know if he's really going to let him go away. He's doing his utmost. He's got his dancing shoes on, but he's going to head back to base the hard way and respawn in about 15 seconds.
Engaging before 10. Good luck. That was a very bold move. Rather than just soaking for 10 because they were behind anyhow. Let's try to get some advantage on our own. If it turns out great, then we'll actually have a lead. The first, okay, that sentence does sound pretty great, but they have to have a few backup plans, and that may happen right now. There's massive focus onto Leeming. Great grab by Hodu and Roxer.
I mean, these picks are just insane from GLuck. Wow, I mean, like we said, a bad call that everybody follows is better than a good one that nobody does. So when they do make these calls, the shot calling is followed very, I guess, zealously. They do have a synergy and success in at least that one way.
And that was right before 10, where Ballistix was going to push even further into their macro. So GLuck, even though there's still a little bit of a gap in the experience, I would say they made their hole into this game here. Second tempo phase. This is where it gets really tough for GLuck. They don't have a fort, they don't have a fountain, and ETC is already up there. Maybe he's just thinking about stage dive.
Keep an eye on that heroic when, in fact, they actually do get up to 10. They're a couple levels down and down that heroic, so that's going to make it very difficult to maintain control of that South Temple. So it's inevitably going to go over to Ballistix, and they keep taking down objectives. Now damage onto that southern keep.
Do have the stage dive, so that's going to be a global. Against Falstad, who actually cannot travel all the way to the bottom from the top lane. So has to travel a little bit for that flight now. Getting massively focused, Jungha taking some damage.
Oh, nice lightning breath, kind of swinging it all over everywhere. A little bit of damage for everybody, but no kills coming in just yet. Ballistix, now's the time for the turnaround. Jungha going in, Rockstar up in the front line. Jungha actually down below half health and might be forced out of this
Look at
fight.
that Asgard just putting out maximum minigun damage onto Jungha. This is what we've been looking for.
No, absolutely. The focus, the special pick is paying off. And for Asgard, a very valuable asset to their ability to deal with
Hinterland from Falstad. Okay. We're going all in here with the palm. Ballistic there going for the focus on one target. Who is it going to be? SDE lining himself on the Hinterland blast.
I don't know where the Hinterlands
They
are.
tried this long time ago with the Judgment pair with the Tyrael. It did work. It did work. Only a few amount of times.
But the few times make it all worth it.
No. Not enough damage, of course.
Waiting. This game is now the Hinterland waiting room.
See Jungha having that ground 40 armor.
Nice way
to survive, but Savo seems like it's gonna get the kill. Does finish up. And SDE.
Whoa, he's gonna take a trip to the Hinterlands himself.
No Gus to save himself. So
that's not how it works, GLuck.
And he's a mage Falstad as well, so I don't think Ballistix is looking to have this long game, but because of that GLuck, actually will get the boss, and even more it will go straight to the fort, and they will straight march into the keep wall with this boss.
Is this where GLuck turns everything around, just pushes all the way for the win? Probably not. Realistically, that would be a lot to expect, but hey, every little win is a win, right? Wins are wins. I mean, they haven't put a win on the board, but they're winning it's the little things that count, right, GLuck?
And with the Bloodlust, they have some massive outputs on the Rage mode.
Wow. Can you imagine Bloodlust and then like percentage damage, Urel is going to explode.
And with ETC stage dive, they also have against the Falstad, who's actually at the bottom for now, so Ballistix actually ended up switching because of this top temple now, and this is working out pretty well for GLuck.
They killed the fort. And
not just because Ballistix, they had some odd choices in their level 10.
They did.
GLuck, their team fight positioning, and oh, look at that flying machine of Terran there.
Is that Cockatrice?
No, but because they can actually macro this one out, they're catching up significantly in the experience here.
They really did. Are they going to take this keep? No? Maybe?
They have to try to because they are losing their top one for sure. The massive push from the camp. And ETC did escape.
Yeah, SDE still alive. Keeping an eye on that. Where is the Hinterland blast? I'm waiting for it. Hodu's doing his best to hold the, I guess, gate. It's like a door. Up on the top. Keep.
This is way too big for ETC himself to take it out. So, Hodu. That's a massive one. Of course, if you want to use the pinball, you have to power slide first, and then have the face melt to do some. It's actually a pretty nice wave clear tool for the burst damage. And if you are going against someone like a very low HP like Gul'dan, Li Ming, pinball is a pretty good talent to take at 7. You end up doing a lot of damage that you don't think, the opponent think you don't really have that at the moment, but you'll have that starting 7.
So roughly even trade at the end of everything when both teams are pushed back from their keeps. It is actually decent damage done, but here comes SDE. We haven't seen the Hinterland blast just yet.
Oh, we did just one,
well,
and
we
don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I was going to say we didn't see it be effective. I should have qualified that. We haven't seen it live up to its true potential, so I'm still waiting. When will it be?
They're actually gathering together because GLuck caught up in level. Finally! game number 3. They may over...
How are these things happening?
Oh, because of ETC. They chose the right path against Falstad. Look at that pinball. That's the value. With the wave clear. And that's Hodu, guys. Remember. He may be back later on in one of the open division. Who knows, in 2018, he will be on HGC with a new team.
Well, that is the other thing. This is great experience for Hodu. Because of this, he will have you know, a lot to offer other teams. Just the ability to see, hey, this is how the other teams play. This is what it feels like to be part of an HGC roster. Maybe some other things to offer when he does continue to show up in other Heroes events, whether it's just his Hero League games or maybe a little bit of open division.
Let's have a little focus onto SDE. Now he's making his globals work. He wasn't really doing that against ETC. It was actually ETC who was doing... He was focusing earlier macro compared to Falstad, because in this case, it's a little weird without the Mighty Gust to actually fly over to make the big play or even the disengage, because you just don't have it. You should be near your team trying to do more damage, trying to put out that line of damage with the hinterland, which is pretty tough sometimes. So you do want to join into your team. You can't really be as effective when you don't take Mighty Gust in the global scene.
Oh, Hodu. He's setting up for it. Where's Falstad? He's maybe eyeing it a little bit, but not going to go for the blast just yet. This is where he is so used to taking Mighty Gust that he flies to the opposite edge of the team.
Yeah, and they don't have... It's a lot less forgiving for them. They make a mistake, they get caught, they will be killed because of having that lack of Mighty Gust now. And it was an Eminem one opportunity thing, but they didn't even have that super play. And when they made it work last time, it was with the Judgment just locking one down. But so far, with Irel Muradin, they don't really have that all together. I think they're really looking for an insta-kill onto Phoenix. But Phoenix so far, having a great positioning, not really getting caught too much.
Yeah, same thing for Falstad. He's doing a pretty good job escaping when he needs to. Just right there, he was able to fly away right before GLuck rotated up and into him and put him in a rough spot. So, yeah, the survivability is definitely there. This has actually been a comparatively low-kill game, right? We've seen pretty even, I guess, pushes as far as objectives are concerned, but eventually it will come down to who can take control of the temples.
Yeah, that's all because GLuck actually has all their keeps alive. All the fountains are gone. So let's sustain it that way. They actually have to go all the way back. So, but all the keeps are alive. They have the line control. They have ETC Global. And the keep is down for Ballistix, actually. Trying to catch on to Hodu, get some massive focus.
Oh my
With
goodness.
one more focus from the missiles, that will be...
SC too busy fighting to hinterland that. So keep an eye on this, withdrawing. This is his life now. Looking for the ability to press R.
Pretty intense move for Ballistix, where they can't actually go all the way in and just manage to escape.
So for GLuck, they actually have an advantage, if I can use that word. It might not last for very long because Ballistix are now in control of the center temple. So can they hold here, or will they get taken out there? They do not have a Mighty Gust to maybe split GLuck up.
Charge onto Jungha just to take control back to themselves on the temple.
Falstad's going for the key meanwhile, so the longer Ballistix can draw this out, the better it will be.
I think they need the ETC now. They need to call one right now. ETC needs to come back line.
Perfect time for stage dive if he wants to drop in. Here is the Thor. The Thor is here and it's pushing Hooligan out.
They focus on to Magi with the dash. Can he make the escape? Just heal out. Wave of Force dealing a little bit more. In the meantime, Falstad did get the keep, so Ballistix, they got the win from this one, but will be a trade of temple damage, which will not... Let's see. I'm not quite sure how much damage that middle keep actually has right now at the moment.
Don't think it'll be enough to take it down fully. Ballistix are coming back in now that Odin's gone. You really have to look at Asgard and say, well, is he going to be as valuable? No. Pop goes the Weasel and maybe a few other things there as well. Rockstar taken out. KCB might be next. The Storm's just going to come through, and that is not going to be a good place for our friendly little Rhaegar to be.
And they do hit 20 after the kill. Straight march to the core.
Indeed it is. I'm a little bit disappointed. The hinterlands, they didn't live up to my expectations. But overall, the game
Oh,
certainly
Archon! Archon, 100% win rate. I know what that one for sure. It's gonna do massive siege damage. Continuing all that, CSC is crazy, putting out the maximum damage. Look at that BM.
Whoa!
Maximum level, and that's game number 3 and the end of the series.
GG. In the end, it was a very fun way to play that final game. I think GLuck did actually look, I think, better in their last game than they did in any of their others, but it's still a Ballistix victory, and I think that is to be expected. They are still one of the top teams in HGC Korea, and they put another win on the table.
Still much better of a response. As Ballistix, I think they tried to fool around a little bit. The final team fight, Hinterland didn't do a single scratch onto anything.
It looked cool, though.
Yes.
That's my thought when I picked it for the first time. I was like, well, this one just looks cooler than a Gust, right?
And even it actually got a buff some time ago.
Okay, well, let's not talk about that. Get our hopes up. In the end, these are your final stats. A massively one-sided difference there, especially for, what is it, SDE? Yeah, 160 is a lot of structure damage. He was pushing all day.
And that's when you say, as a fall stat player, guys, like, I carried, like,
Yeah.
like, vote me after the game.
Guys, yeah, if you would like to